Hello, my name's Remit and welcome to this yoga session here at The Nest. The theme of today is unity, so we're thinking about how we can create a sense of unity here in Lockdown 2.0. So if you have a yoga mat, please grab it now. You can put on a candle or some incense or a diffuser and join me for this yoga session. Okay, so let's begin in a comfortable sitting position. So whether that's cross-legged or kneeling, just make yourself comfortable. If you need any cushions underneath your knees or if you want to sit on a cushion, feel free. And we're just going to begin to tune in to our body. So maybe our palms facing up, either on your knees or in your lap. And if it feels comfortable for you, you can close your eyes here. And if that feels a little bit weird, you can just lower your eyes. And we're just tuning in here to the body. So just noticing any sensations in the body. There might be aches and pains. There could be a sensation of heat or cold. So just noticing and tuning in to the body. And then we'll begin to tune into the breath. So just begin to notice your breath. And it's almost impossible to do, but see if you can notice your breath without changing it. So just noticing the quality of your breath. Is it fast or slow? Is it deep or shallow? Or somewhere in between? And as you inhale, see if you can feel the inhale moving all the way up your body to the crown of your head. And as you exhale, maybe you can feel the breath moving down your body to the base of your spine, or maybe all the way down into your toes. So just breathing up and down the body. And now we'll check in with the mind. So just tuning into whatever is going on in the mind. Noticing any thoughts. Noticing whether the mind is busy or quiet or somewhere in between. And again, see if you can just notice it without judging it or trying to change it. So just allow the thoughts to be there. Come to a place of acceptance of whatever is going on in your mind. And just letting your mind know that for the next hour, we're tuning into the body and the breath. And so maybe you can push some of those thoughts about the future to 40 minutes away or an hour away. And maybe any of those thoughts about the past, you can just leave them there. Maybe any thoughts about the future, you can just park them until the end of this session. And just bring your hands to prayer at your heart center. take a nice big inhale here, the biggest inhale you've taken all day. And as you exhale, drop your chin down to your chest in gratitude for the opportunity to practice today. And today's theme, as I mentioned, is unity. So we're thinking about connecting with ourselves as a point of reference to connect with others. So unity is also about unity within ourselves. So we all have what we call a shadow self. So we all have parts of ourselves which we're kind of not so proud of, parts of ourselves which we choose not to share with other people. And so part of this journey is kind of coming into unity with that as well, and coming into acceptance of our shadow selves. So just noticing that unity can be unity within ourselves. It can be letting go of this duality of good and bad, knowing that both exist simultaneously. And unity could be embracing the oneness of life, knowing that we might be living through quite challenging times, and embracing everything that is in our experience of life. So just unifying ourselves, unifying our experience. And if you'd like to set an intention here, please feel free to do so. So it might be an intention that relates to our theme, it might be an intention to feel more calm, any intention you like. And in the spirit of unity, I invite you to dedicate this practice to someone. So that could be yourself, could be someone that you feel could benefit from some positive vibes. And when you're ready, gently bring your head up and you can open your eyes. Okay, so let's begin with some pranayama, some breath work. We're going to do Brahmari pranayama, which translates to humming bee breath. This is a really good one for just calming the nervous system so that we can begin our practice. I find it quite profound. So it looks a bit odd, but just I invite you to give it a try and just see how it feels for you. So what we're going to do, don't do this yet, just watch me first. We're going to bring our fingers over our eyes, so we're essentially kind of closing our eyes, and one thing to remember is don't put pressure on the eyes because it's very easily done and it's not very comfortable. So the fingers are gently pressing on the eyes, and the thumbs are going to go into my ears, and they're kind of, so I'm pushing my tragus into my ear to close my ear. So basically closing the eyes, closing the ears. And from there we're going to take 7 humming bee breaths, and this is how they look and how they sound. So closing the eyes, closing the ears. I'm going to take a nice big inhale and so it's just a humming sound. And don't worry about the pitch or anything like that. It's just a long, deep breath and a long, slow exhale with a humming sound. So we'll do 7 of those now. So feel free to start and finish whenever you start and finish. So you don't need to kind of join me. It's just at your own pace. So whenever you're ready, closing the eyes, closing the ears, and a nice deep breath, and let's begin. finished, just drop your hands down into your lap or on your knees. Maybe you keep your eyes closed for a moment and just check in now with the body. Notice any changes. Check in with the breath. Notice any changes to the breath. And check in with the mind, noticing any changes to the mind. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. If you're feeling any kind of dizziness, I invite you to stay here for a few more moments. And I also want to show you child's pose. So if at any point any of this feels challenging, you can always come into child's pose. So 2 options, either knees together and then just drop your forehead to the ground, or you can bring your knees apart, which might feel more comfortable. So just again, bring your forehead to the ground, palms are facing up on either side of your hips. So that's child's pose. You can always come into that at any point. So let's warm up our joints. So we'll start by inhaling as we look over our left shoulder and exhale to center. Inhale, looking over the right shoulder. Exhale, center. Inhale, left. Exhale, center. Inhale, right. Exhale, center. And then we'll bring our hands out in either direction, and we're just really stretching the fingers here. Really, really make space between each finger. You want your thumbs to be pointing towards the front of the room. And then we'll squeeze our fingers. So I'll just show you from the front how it looks. So really making space between each finger, trying to get the thumbs to point towards each other if they're at the front. And then squeeze, stretch, squeeze, stretch, squeeze. Just check in with your back, make sure it's straight. Stretch and squeeze and stretch and squeeze. Good. And then we're going to bring the thumbs in and the fingers over the top. And we're just going to draw circles from the wrists. So we'll just go one way, whichever way you like. And really just enjoying this movement. Sending some TLC to the wrists. And we'll go the other way. Good. And then I invite you to begin to draw some circles. So focus on your shoulders here. Focus on moving your shoulders up, forward, and back and down. And again, just staying with the sensation, noticing how it feels for you. Noticing how the body is moving together to create this movement. Good, and then we'll go forwards. Again, just noticing how it feels. You might notice that one side feels a bit different to the other. You could be noticing any sensations and just stay with them and see how they feel. Good. And then just dropping the arms, give your hands a little shake. And we'll bring our feet out in front of us. So really spread the toes wide. Just checking in with the back, make sure the back is straight. So spreading the toes as wide as you can. And then squeezing. And stretch and squeeze. This becomes easier the more you do it. It's kind of less about body movement and more about neural kind of programming. So stretching and squeezing, really beginning to move those toes. And then from here, we're going to draw circles with the ankles. And just check in with your knees. Make sure your knees are not you don't want them to be moving from side to side too much. So we want the movement to be coming from the ankles. Good. And we'll go the other way. So again, sending some TLC to your ankles. Good. And again, maybe you notice that one feels very different to the other. Okay. And now we're going to come onto all fours. So just make sure that your hands are directly below your shoulders, knees are directly below your hips, and you're untucking the toes and pushing the tops of the feet into the mat. Check in with your fingers, make sure they're nice and spread wide. And from here, we're going to do some cat-cows. So as we inhale, we're going to lift the tailbone, looking up. And as we exhale, we're tucking the tailbone under, pushing through the hands, rounding the back. Inhale to arch, lift the tailbone, looking up. Feel that stretch along the front of the body. And exhale to round, stretching the back of the body. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round, push through the hands. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. And once more, inhale, arch. And exhale to round. Good. And from here, we'll just come to a flat back and we're going to tuck the toes and we're going to come into our first downward dog. So we're going to lift the knees slowly and gently, beginning to straighten those legs. And if you like, you can walk the dog. So straightening one leg as you bend the other, until you find a stillness. So pushing through the hands, we want to create this kind of upside down V shape. So it's less important that the heels touch the mat and more important that we're sending the hips up. So maybe give it a try. Try bending both knees, sending the hips up, and then maybe from there you can straighten them. And when you're ready, looking between the hands, just walk your feet between the hands and you can bend them. And we're going to inhale to come all the way up. So we're going to do some sun salutations here. These are kind of basic movement. They're really good because they work, it's like a whole body movement. So feet are together at the top of the mat. Toes are touching, heels are touching. And we're going to inhale, floating the hands up to touch in prayer above the head. Exhale, folding forward, hands come onto the mat, you can bend your knees. Inhale, step the right leg back. Exhale, step the left leg back. So we're in downward dog here. Inhale here. Exhale, move forward into plank, drop the knees, and drop the chin and chest between the hands so the hips stay lifted. Inhaling into cobra, push the tops of the feet into the mat. And exhale, coming into downward dog. And we're taking 5 breaths here. So again, maybe you want to bend the knees, send the hips up again. And begin to straighten them. Pushing through the hands, hugging the shoulders towards each other. If this feels really uncomfortable, it might be that most of the weight is in your hands, and we want the weight to be distributed evenly between the hands and the feet. So see if you can send some weight towards your legs. And looking between the hands, inhale, step the right leg forward. Exhale, step the left leg forward. Inhale to come all the way up, lifting up. And exhale to center. We'll do the same on the other side. Inhale, reaching the hands up. Exhale, folding forward, hands come onto the mat. Inhale, step the left leg back. Exhale, right leg back.
Inhale here. And exhale, plank, knees down, chin and chest down. Inhale, cobra. Push the tops of the feet into the mat. Exhale, downward dog. 5 breaths here. Long, deep breaths. If you have Ujjayi breath in your practice, you can use Ujjayi breath. Looking between the hands, inhale, step the left leg forward. Exhale, step the right leg forward. Inhale to come all the way up, reaching up. And exhale to center. And just drop the hands down by your sides. And we're just gonna check in again with the body. Noticing any changes, any new sensations. Noticing how it feels to move the body. So we're just going to do a nice flow now. So again, inhaling the hands up. Exhale, folding forward, bring the hands down. Inhale, step the right leg back. Exhale, step the left leg back. And we're going to inhale the right leg up into the air. So we're coming into 3-legged dog here. And just check in with your hips. Make sure your hips are not kind of turning to the side. We're just lifting the leg up. And then we're going to exhale and bring the leg up to the right elbow. Inhale to send it back up. Exhale it forward. Inhale up. Exhale forward. And inhale up. And then we're going to exhale the foot all the way forward between the hands. And we're going to spin that back foot to the side. So the back foot is either 90 degrees or 45 degrees. So somewhere between 90 and 45 degrees. And the front foot is still facing towards the top of the mat. And we're going to come into a triangle here. So hands come out to the sides. This is a really active pose. So pulling the hands away from each other. And then maybe just taking your front hand and just place it just below the hip bone, just kind of in that space there. And we're going to send that hip back. So I'll just show you again, just sending the hip back. And then from here, we're going to windmill the hands. So the front hand is coming down, back hand is coming up. And we're looking towards that top hand. So really, again, stretching the hands away from each other. And see if you can find that center with your top hand. So we don't want the top hand to be moving too far back, and we don't want it to be coming forward. So just see if you can find that center for you. Good. And from here, we're going to take a reverse Trikonasana, reverse triangle. So just reversing the hands. So the back hand comes down the leg, front hand comes up. And this time the front hand is facing us. So just turning the hand. Good. And then we're going to bring the upper body up. We're going to bend the knee. This is Warrior Two. Again, really pulling the hands away from each other. And again, find your center. So you don't want to be leaning forward too much, leaning back too much. Don't want to be back bending too much. So just see if you can find what feels like your center. And from here, we'll drop the front elbow down to just above the front knee. And we're sending the back hand up and forwards. Again, the palm of the hand is facing us. And we're looking, so you kind of want to bring your head as if you're going to sniff your armpit. And then with your eyes looking up. So the chin is slightly tucked.
And from here, looking down at the mat, we're going to bring both hands on either side of the foot, spin that back foot so that you're back on the toes. And we're going to send that right leg back into the air. And now we're going to bend the leg and we're going to twist the hips. And from here, we'll just send that right leg down to the mat. Sending the left leg up and again, squaring the hips. And from here, we'll do a few elbow touches. So inhale here, exhale, touch the elbow. Inhale up, exhale, touch. Inhale up, exhale, touch. Inhale up, and we'll do one more. Exhale, touch. Inhale, send the leg all the way up again. And as you exhale, send the leg between the hands. And again, we're going to spin that back leg out. So it's 90 degrees or 45 degrees. And we're coming into triangle Trikonasana. So again, send the hands out in either direction, really pulling the hands away from each other. And take that back hand and bring it again into that place just below the hip. Send the hip back and then windmilling the arms. Looking at the top hand. And we'll reverse it. Reverse Trikonasana. Reverse triangle. Reversing the hands. Back hand comes onto the leg, front hand comes up. Again, palm is facing towards you. Looking at the palm. And then bring the upper body up, bending that front knee, coming into Warrior Two. Really pulling the hands away from each other. And when you're ready, bringing that elbow onto the knee, and the other hand comes up and forwards. And again, tucking the chin, looking as if you're going to sniff your armpit, and with your eyes looking up at your hand. And when you're ready, we're just going to windmill the hands down, turning that front foot in. So both feet are facing towards the long edge of your mat. And from here, if it feels comfortable to bring your hands down, feel free to do so. If you'd like to bring your hands onto your shins or maybe your ankles, feel free. So just find whatever works for you here. And if bringing your hands down is super easy, maybe you want to walk your palms back so that they're in line with your heels. Dropping the head down. And just finding some space here. You might want to play around with the positioning of your hands. And just allowing the whole body to work together in unison. And maybe from here you want to make some slight movements. So maybe you want to walk your hands to one side and to the other. Maybe you want to send your hips kind of to one side and the other, bending one leg and then the other. Maybe you want to twist. So just making some movements, noticing what your body wants you to do. Again, coming into this place of unity. So
in the Eastern world, we have this philosophy that it's not just the brain or the mind which has intellect. The body also has its own intellect. And so just see if you can tap into that. Notice what the body wants and needs. And when you're ready, gently heel toe your feet together. And then just rolling slowly up. Good. So from here we're going to let's come into dancer. So bring the weight onto your left foot. So maybe you want to pick up your toes, spread them out, place them down. And just lifting up the right foot here. And we're going to grab hold of the outside of the ankle or the foot. And the left hand comes into Gyan Mudra. So the first finger and the thumb are touching. And when you're ready, we're just going to gently kick that leg back as we bring the hand forward. So just take care not to open the hip out to the side too much. Looking just ahead of the hands. And if you begin to lose your balance, that's absolutely fine. Just coming back to the breath, pushing the big toe into the ground. And when you're ready, gently come out, give yourself a shake. We'll do the same on the other side. So pushing down through the right foot, pick up the toes, spread them out, place them down. And we're going to pick up that left foot. So grabbing hold of the outside of either the ankle or the foot. Right hand comes into Gyan Mudra. First finger and thumb are touching. And when you're ready, we're going to kick out that foot as we bring the hand forward. So slow and steady. Take care that the hip is not turning out too much. Finding your balance, focusing on the breath. And when you're ready, just gently come out. And we're coming to the top of our mats. Bring your feet to shoulder width apart or hip width apart. And when you're ready, take a nice big inhale. And as you exhale, just folding forward. Maybe you grab hold of your opposite elbows and just rock from side to side like a rag doll. Dropping the head, maybe you nod a few yeses or shake a few no's. And when you're ready, bring your hands onto the mat. And we're just going to step the feet back and we're going to lie down on our bellies. So we're going to come into crocodile pose. So hands are palms facing down, one on top of the other. Forehead rests on the hands. And the toes are touching, the heels are out. So just from here, we're going to spend some time working on our belly breath. So filling the belly with breath, feeling the belly expanding as you fill the belly with breath. And feeling the belly contracting. So really sending the breath into that belly area, feeling it pushing against the ground. And maybe you notice some other parts of the body which are moving with the breath. So maybe you notice the sensation of your spine moving as you breathe. Maybe you notice the pelvis moving. Just noticing the unity of the body. So many different body parts are moving and working together for every breath. And when you're ready, interlace the hands behind the back, forehead can come onto the mat. Zipping up the legs, and on our next inhale, we're going to lift up chest and legs. So inhaling up, lifting up, maybe the hands come away from the body. Lifting the legs, lifting the chest. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And we're going to come straight into child's pose for a moment. So sitting back on the heels again, knees can come out. And just sending the forehead down to the mat. If this is not comfortable, you can grab a block or even a couple of books and just place your forehead on the books or the block. This should feel like a resting pose. And when you're ready, just gently come up. We're going to come into a quick Paschimottanasana, forward fold. So feet come out in front of you. Take an inhale, lengthening through the spine. And as you exhale, folding forwards. Maybe you grab hold of your shins, maybe your ankles, maybe your big toes, or the outsides of your feet. And just allow your back to soften here. So we're releasing the back. Maybe you can visualize making space between each vertebra, dropping the head down. Good. And when you're ready, gently roll up. We're coming into our final pose, Shavasana. So if you have an eye pillow, feel free to put it on now, bringing your feet to the outside edges of the mat. And hands come a little bit away from the body. Palms are facing up. And just beginning to soften here, allowing the benefit of this practice to sink into the body. And maybe you come back to your intention here. And you can just let it go now. Maybe you bring to your mind
the person you chose to dedicate this practice to. And again, allow that to melt away too. And bring your awareness to your forehead, softening through the forehead, allowing any tension to be released. Bring your awareness to your eyes and your cheeks and your jaw, softening through all the facial muscles, allowing tension to melt away. Find space between each tooth and allow the tongue to fall away from the roof of the mouth. Bring your awareness to your neck and your shoulders. Allow your shoulders to sink into the mat, finding softness and letting go of any tension. Bring your awareness to your arms and your hands and your fingers, softening through all the muscles, allowing any tension to disappear. Bring your awareness to your chest and your abdomen and your back, allowing the muscles to soften, allowing the organs to soften, allowing the bones to soften, releasing any tension. And bring your awareness to your hips, softening the hips down towards the mat, letting go of any tension. Bring your attention to your legs and your feet and your toes, softening, allowing tension to melt away. And when you're ready, begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, keeping your eyes closed. Roll over onto your right side. And keeping your eyes closed, gently and slowly come up to sitting. Bring your hands into prayer at your heart center. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, drop your chin to your chest, or you can bow forward in gratitude for the opportunity to practice today, in gratitude to yourself for prioritizing this time to connect with your body, your breath, and your mind. When you're ready, you can inhale, bringing your body or your head up, and keeping your eyes closed, rub your palms together. Place your palms over your eyes. With a few blinks, open your eyes into your palms and slowly lower your hands down. Thank you for practicing with me, and I hope to see you at the next session.